India-Canada diplomatic standoff, wherein my colleague Akansha Swaroop spoke exclusively to Kenny Chiu, former Canadian BC or MP of Chinese origin. Now, he says China's alleged election meddling is the reason he lost his seat in the 2021 federal election, and that Trudeau is soft on China, using attack on India as a diversionary tactic. Listen in to this conversation.
Polls for Canada's 2021 federal election had predicted your re-election, that too by a landslide victory. And yet you lost from your seat of Steveston, Richmond East. While we are aware that polls cannot be accurate all the time, you've gone on record to say that China's alleged election meddling is the reason you lost your seat. Why do you say so? And how does China's alleged election interference work out in Canada?
Well, first of all, Akansha, I mean, like you said, elections, it's a complicated operations, and there are many, many factors at play. In 2021, I lost to my opposition candidate, Mr. Parn Baines, and one of the contributing factor that I allege was the foreign interference by the Chinese Communist Party's regime. And that was backed up by many of the third-party research organizations, such as the Atlantic Council, such as the McGill University data scientists, and as well as this Info Watch. And then finally, in 2022, explosive whistleblower report covered by Canada's Global News, as well as Globe and Mail. Right. It is important to understand that the CCP China, it's not the only country that has been long identified as those who are very active in interfering Canada's. And it is an incident that I try to bring up as much attention.
Supporters of China are in fact quick in saying or countering that allegation by saying that it is the fact that, these people who were contesting have lost out. That is why they are blaming China, which is why I want to know from you, how does alleged election interference work out? Is it in the form of disinformation? How is China working this out?
When I was a member of parliament, I became the first to propose a foreign interference influence transparency scheme, a registry, and that had become a focus point of many of the attack. And during the election, there were disinformation telling many of my diaspora compatriot of Chinese descent that I am anti-Asian, that I hate Chinese, that I will betray them. And that's why during the election, I've seen, even though it was only 22 months from the last election, I've seen a significant swing and changes to my constituents' attitude. And that's as the Canadian Security Intelligence Service has confirmed, and the whistleblower report, that it's due to the organized disinformation campaign against me.
It's interesting that you mentioned about those intelligence reports that have been published. The Globe and Mail have published one such report citing Canadian intelligence documents that describe these alleged Chinese efforts to oust Canadian candidates that are seen as unfriendly to Beijing. Despite such intelligence, why hasn't the Trudeau government taken adequate action against alleged Chinese intervention? Also, why isn't the RCMP not investigating?
Any ordinary person would wonder why, because there had been, like I said, for years, the Canadian Security Intelligence Services, CSIS, has published a report sounding the alarm of its concern to the top 3 countries that are infiltrating and impacting Canada, namely.
But that's why I want to
China,
ask from
Russia,
you: do you believe that Justin Trudeau is turning a blind eye to these reports?
From his action, it seems like he's not taking the same level of concern and action as he did in a high-profile way, announcing, implicating that India government is behind a assassination of a Canadian citizen in Canada. It's important to understand that for years he was forced to take action in recognizing that the Chinese have been infiltrating, impacting our electoral system. And recently, actually, only days after his highly dramatic announcement in the House of Commons, the global news has actually reported that somebody who was targeted by China and who previously announced that he's not going to suicide and kill himself had been found dead in BC, in British Columbia. And so it looks like that the Prime Minister has a different level of concern vis-a-vis with China and also India.
Well, that was the conversation that took place, and we have with us Siddhant Mishra joining us on the broadcast to bring us more details and set some more context about this conversation that you just heard. Siddhant, a very good morning to you. My first question to you is about if you could set some more context with regards to the Chinese involvement with the Trudeau government, especially in the backdrop of the current circumstances.
Well, Chinese influence operation has been going on worldwide. In fact, many countries, including United States and even Canada, have come out with the proof that how their influence operation, Chinese influence operation, has been going on in these countries by setting up police station, by doing surveillance, also by funding journalists and critical thinkers to write against that particular country. So China has been doing this all from quite a long time now. As far as Canada is concerned, Justin Trudeau has been accused by the opposition parties for not raising the issue of Chinese intervention for the long time. There was an MP from an opposition party who was harassed, who was intimidated by Chinese diplomats, and time and again opposition parties raised those issues, but Justin Trudeau did not act once. In fact, other than this, there are at various stages where there have been a footprint of Chinese influence operation going on in Canada. But Mr. Trudeau, the position that he has taken against India, and with the promptness he has acted against India without even having a credible evidence, without even having something substantial. The same way he never acted against the government of China, and this is a reason that there has been a lot of criticism. Even the opposition parties also question him that why the promptness was not shown when it was for China, because Chinese threat is serious, Chinese threat is real, and in fact each one of us understand that how China gives effort through the influence operation to influence the opinion makers, to change the narrative, to perhaps intervene in the democratic practices. So Akanksha has interviewed this person who understands it very well, and also he's blaming Trudeau for not showing the promptness while going after Canada. So it's a sentiment in Canada that why Mr. Trudeau did not act with the promptness, with that level of passion against China,
right,
how he did against India.
Right.